is Dabu 7. We have Angela Merkel warning Europe, specifically Germany, that they should brace for a reality in which the U.S. is no longer a superpower. This is something that is being repeated over and over again. We even have Canada, our closest ally and neighbor, seeing China as the world's economic power at this point. She speaks on this exact same thing. She says we may have to shift in our stance, and we may have to accept that in a world where war could break out, that the United States may not be there to help us. She says that they may relinquish this willingly, that they would give up this title willingly. She goes on and on about this, and it's very interesting. Now, some could say that she's trying to pitch the European military thing here, which she stopped short of talking about. This is something that Macron has been talking about, saying that they need to put together a big European military presence. To counter who? The whole scheme of a world stage is starting to fall apart here, as we see these world leaders have been working together behind the curtain over and over again, flashing the same hand signs, the whole nine. Same old song and dance of controlling both sides, creating an illusion, having people buy in to one of both sides, and then fighting over it. You're seeing this globally. It's an age-old tactic. You're going into election year. It's going to decimate this country. So, how it's all going to shake out and go down, I'm not sure here at this point, but I figured I would share this and let it be known that she seems to have something on her conscious mind, and she's reflecting this to her people, that there could be a shift in the offing in terms of world power dominance. And I know some people are like, well, that'd never happen unless they completely nuke us or knock us out. There's always a ton of theories, but if you've been sold out by your own people, it could already be done. I'll leave a link. Make sure to join me over.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 18, verse 2. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, and has become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and the cage of every unclean and hateful bird. We want to start this off by giving all praise, glory, and honor to Yahawah, Hashem, Yahawashi, Hashem QADASH. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of GMS, the Great Millstone and Ruwell. Peace, love, and salutations to the Bayaf Dawada, the house of David. I'm the brother Zion.
With the brother Karab.
And as you see, GMS Boss presents how is the hammer of the earth cut asunder and broke. All right. And in the hammer of the earth is indeed America. All right. America, the great mystery Babylon that's been revealed in these last days, as was prophesied. All right. And you've seen a video clip from Dabu 7. All right. Going into these European nations, you know, basically getting ready for a world in which America is no longer in power. What's happening, especially in 2020, the year of prophecy, a lot of prophecies are coming to pass, but it becomes clearer and clearer every day that America is no longer that superpower that she once was, all right? Because Babylon is fallen, according to the scriptures. Rome is burning, and Egypt is big, and America is on her last leg. These Edomites here in America, all right, they're on their last leg, and they no longer have the dominance that they once had. The political system is all screwed up here. The judicial system is all screwed up here. The money banks are, you know, robbing citizens of their money. Taxes is through the roof. Inflation is about to set hold and take place. America no longer produces anything. Militarily, other nations have capabilities of you know, basically, quite frankly, wiping this place out. Okay, right. So through the spirit, we want to you know, as we always do, we've got a couple articles. Um, we got some definitions that we want to get into to get deeper into what it means, and then basically, we'll start it off by going to the beginning because the Heavenly Father, all right, declared the ending from the beginning, all right, and by Him declaring the ending from the beginning, He prophesied America to rise, like He prophesied the Egyptians to rise, like He prophesied the Assyrians to rise, like He prophesied the Babylonians to rise, like He prophesied the Persians, all right, and the Greeks and the Romans, and likewise America. America is that last leg of the Roman Empire. All right, it's just the last leg of the Roman Empire, and which is the last kingdom that has to be destroyed in order for our kingdom to come in, the kingdom that's going to be ruled by the Lord Yahawashi, which is the King of Kings. All right, so let's start it off with Revelation, the 17th chapter. All right, the Revelation, the 17th chapter, because what you're about to see, right, clear as day. By the time we finish this video, I want the Zaya edified, is that these European nations, all right, quite frankly, sick and tired of this place, man. And not just these European nations, but the whole world. Nations like China, all right, they're Russian counterparts, but they're kingdom adversaries, the Russians, all right, the North Koreans, the Iranians, all right, even the Saudi Arabians, the Turkish. All these people hate this place, America, and they're looking forward to the downfall of this place. All right, but before you even read that, get Proverbs 16 and 18, Baba Kasha.
16 and 18. All right. This is Proverbs 16 and 18, and it reads, "Pride goeth before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall."
Yeah, so these Americans, these Babylonians, their pride is through the roof. They couldn't fathom America ever being destroyed. Likewise, at the height of the Egyptian Empire, the Egyptians couldn't fathom the Most High plaguing their place and taking that place down. The Romans, in their glory, couldn't fathom the Most High taking this place down. Get Jeremiah chapter 28, verse 28. All right. The Grecians, the Persian Empire, had a massive, colossal army that in their mind and their pride, they thought could never be destroyed, but they were wrong. All right, because the kingdom of heaven has to be established. All these kingdoms have to get wiped out. And then you can get the book of Daniel, but get Jeremiah chapter 28.
I got it right here. Jeremiah 28 and 8. It says, the prophets that has been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms, of war and of evil and of pestilence.
Go ahead, break that down, brother.
So it says that the prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied against many countries, great kingdoms, and of evil, wars, and pestilence. So, you know, the duties of the prophets, which they did in the ancient time, that's what they're doing now. They're prophesying once again against Babylon, you know, telling the people that the fall of Babylon is here, you know, as you see pestilence, wars, and rumors of war. This is the same thing that our Lord Yahawashi spoke of and told his men, which is the disciples, that this how you're going to know the time. All right. So once again, this is ushering in the kingdom of heaven by us going out there, letting the people know, especially the kings of Babylon, you know, that the kingdom is falling, you know.
So can you real quick get the book of Daniel's chapter 7. You can start at 2.
So Daniel chapter 7,
verse 2.
All right, So this is Daniel's 7 and 2. And Daniel spake and said, I saw in my vision by night, and behold, the four winds of the heavens strove upon the great sea. And four great beasts came up from the sea, diverse one from another.
So the four beasts are a representation of the four empires that will arise out of the earth. Okay.
That's right. And it says, verse 4, it says, the first was like a lion and had eagle wings, and I beheld till the wings thereof was plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth and made stand upon the feet as a man, and a man's heart was given to it.
Go ahead.
And behold, another beast, a second like to a bear.
That first one, Slocket, the first one was going into the Babylonian Empire. Go ahead.
It says, and behold, another beast, a second like to a bear, and it raised up itself on one side, and it had 3 ribs in the mouth of it, between the teeth of it. And they said thus unto it, arise, devour much flesh. After this I beheld, and lo, another.
Okay, brother. That one was talking about the Medo-Persian Empire. Go ahead.
Verse 6. And after this I beheld, and lo, another like a leopard, which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl. The beast had also 4 heads, and dominion was given to it.
Khan, that's going into the Grecian Empire. All right. That's Alexander and his 4 generals. Okay. Go ahead.
And this is verse 7. It says, after this I saw in the night vision, and behold, a 4th beast, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly. And it had great iron teeth. It devoured and brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it. It was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns.
Going into the Roman Empire. All right. Go ahead.
And I considered the horns, and beheld, and behold, there came up there came up among them another little horn, before whom there was 3 of the first horns plucked up by the root. And behold,
so what you see in America is you see the rebirth of the Roman Empire. That's why in the book of Revelation it talks about that healed, that deadly wound, all right, being healed. And America is what stemmed out of Rome, all right, going into the 17th century, 14th century, what they deemed as the Renaissance era, all right, which was America coming back into power, which was basically the ancient Roman Empire. Okay, go ahead, brother.
All right, and continuing on, it says, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of men, and a mouth speaking great things. And this is verse 9. I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like the pure wool. His throne was like a fiery flame, and his wheel as burning fire.
Hey, that's our Lord and Savior. And he says, and I beheld to the thrones they were cast down. All right, and what the Heavenly Father is going to send his son YAHWASHI to do is to cast down these thrones. All right, keep going.
Khan, verse 10. A fiery stream issued and came forth from before him. Thousands and thousands ministered unto him, and 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him. The judgment was set, and the
these are the chariots that are coming. All right, and this is the judgment that's coming to this earth. Okay, go ahead.
I beheld then, because of the voice of the great words which the horn spake, I beheld even till the beast was slain, and his body destroyed, and given to the burning flame. As concerning the rest of the beasts, they had their dominion taken away, yet their lives was prolonged for a season and time. And I saw in the night vision, and behold, one like the Son of Man came with the clouds of heaven, and came to the Ancient of Days. They brought him near before him. And there was given him dominion and glory and a kingdom, that all people, nations, and language should serve him.
That's our Lord YAHWASHI. This prophecy hasn't took place yet. So that means that this beast, all right, is still in power, because the Heavenly Father hasn't taken down this beast. So whoever is in power, it by default is guilty of being wicked. All right, and it is set to be destroyed. And the nation that's in power right now is America. And this is the nation that we are prophesying about being destroyed. That's why I had the brother bring up the book of Jeremiah, the 28th chapter, and the 8th verse, because it talked about great nations. America is indeed a great nation. And what's happening is, the stages are being set for great destruction before a great fall. He brought out the scriptures in Proverbs where it talked about, haughtiness basically and pride comes before the great fall. All right, and by America um, uplifting Donald Trump as their, you know, that great white hope as the president, and putting all their barrels into this guy. He is the epitome of pride. He is the epitome of what America stands for. All right, and this is the reason why this place is getting ready to fall.
That's right.
So, just to give a backshot, I just wanted to go into the spiritual aspect of why these things are happening, and then we're gonna go into the physical aspect of how this place is gonna be physically brought low, how it's gonna be physically taken down.
That's right. Hey, let me just finish this up real quick.
Yep.
This is going back to verse 14, and it says, "His dominion is an everlasting dominion which shall not pass away, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed." All right, so just finishing up on that. Once again, that's talking about the kingdom of heaven. That's our Lord YAHAWASHI bringing forth his kingdom. As it say, all people, nation, and languages. So everybody's going to be serving him, you know, because he's going to be the ruler. He's known as the King of Kings, Lord of Lords, you know. So once again, and that's him, and it's coming. He's coming with his great glory. All right, and in his appearance, that's showing you that whoever's sitting on the throne is going to be taken out of their power. All right, because the Lord is coming for his throne.
Right, exactly. Real quick, since you said that, we that's fine. So okay, so now that's fine. So now let's go. What you got, bro?
We was going to go into Revelation 17.
Yeah, let's go into Revelation 17.
All right.
Because of what he just said was basically these nations getting ready to move forward in a world in which America is no longer a superpower. Matter of fact, before we read Revelation 17, let's get the other clip first.
Come on.
Get the other clip.
And this is also going into what the guy 077 had mentioned about France and Macron calling for a European army. All right, so we're just going to get this clip to actually show you the proof of it, you know?
Yep.
Back now to President Trump, wheels down. We were watching it live here as he landed in Paris for the commemoration of the 100-year anniversary of the end of World War I. He'll join leaders this weekend from dozens of other countries.
Can you turn it up some?
Come on.
The First Lady, the President took.
I think that's the max.
President Macron of France has just
Can you hear it good?
Yeah. Okay, I can hear it. Yep.
Suggested that Europe build its own military in order to protect itself from the U.S., China, and Russia. Very insulting, but perhaps Europe should first pay its fair share of NATO, which the U.S. subsidizes greatly. Michael O'Hanlon joins us now from Brookings, where he's a foreign policy senior fellow, and I'm sure that will shake up the weekend meeting a little bit. Michael, what did you think of the president's tweet?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me on, and good for President Trump going to this commemoration, and good for you for noting it. It is a very important date. It's the 100th anniversary of the end of World War I. Even though we don't have those amazing veterans with us any longer, it's still a day in history worth commemorating, and I'm glad Mr. Trump is there. So having said that, and now getting to this issue, I think that President Macron a couple of days ago chose some unfortunate words when he said something that actually President Trump should have liked. Because what he was basically saying is Europe should do more. As you know, France is a very proud country that sometimes has wanted to keep a certain distance from NATO. And that is not necessarily incompatible with the Trump agenda. He would like to see Europe feel more of a desire to increase its own capacities. But Macron worded it in a way that made it sound as if the United States could be a military threat to Europe. But I don't think that's what he meant. I think what he meant was we don't want to have to always be subservient to Washington on the world stage in every way. So if he had found better words, maybe there wouldn't be this new spat. But as you point out, it's not a perfect start to the meeting.
Well, if nothing else, if you're right, I guess he gets a chance to explain himself in person, Macron, because he'll have this tweet to play off. He won't be surprised by it. But just so for people who aren't following it as closely as you are, so what you're basically saying is the president of the United States reads this as Europe wants its own military. They're afraid of us and China and Russia, and that's insulting. But your point is what? That Europe really wants to kind of go out on its own more, not be as reliant on us as they have been in the past.
Yeah, we should sort of want this in many ways. And this is a part of President Trump's thinking that I actually agree with, and a lot of people do, of both political parties, that Europe should be encouraged to do more. And if that means have its own autonomous capacity, you know, that's not necessarily against NATO's intent or goals, because these forces, NATO's forces are built nation by nation anyway. So if they sometimes organize in European associations and sometimes organized through broader NATO purposes, it doesn't really matter that much. There isn't that much in the way of headquarters or sort of connective tissue that's all that expensive or, bureaucratic. Most of the capacity is nation by nation. So you can call it European, you can call it NATO. It all is serving the same general set of goals.
Yeah, I almost wonder now that you've explained it that way. You explained it very well, by the way. If this weekend ends with everybody kind of arm in arm and everybody, President Trump taking credit for having brought Emmanuel Macron around and Macron able to go to his.
I'm gonna just stop it right there.
Yep, Khan. So,
not to mention this Salaki, bro. Not to mention this video was posted November 9th, 2018. All right, so just to give a timeline on it.
All right, so that was the French Macron calls for the European army to defend against U.S. and Russia. Let's get the book of Obadiah.
Khan.
Start at the top.
So, all right, this is Obadiah 1:1. The vision of Obadiah, thus said the Lord Yahawah concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor of the Lord Yahawah, an ambassador is sent among the heathens. Arise ye and let us rise up against her in battle.
Yeah, let her rise up against thee in battle. Go ahead.
Behold, I have made thee small among the heathens. Thou art greatly despised.
Hey, so look, real quick, let's go to Revelation 17.
Khan.
The Lord said he made Esau small amongst the heathen, right? And he said, thou art greatly despised. Go down to about keep going down. It's about 16.
All right, Khan. This is Revelation 17 and 16. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire.
See how it said thou greatly despised? It said the 10 horns. The 10 horns represent the European nations, man. All right, these 10 horns, these European nations, they secretly hate America, and they hate America for its pride, man. We have a photo here that's a perfect representation of the hatred that that these people have for America. All right, and you see the beast that the whore that sat upon a beast was America, because the driving forces behind NATO and the European Union is America. All right, but they're going to hate this place and turn it back. Go to the picture of the same German Chancellor, Donald Trump, sitting in the chair, if you can, Baba Kasha. So the point of this is to prove and to give glory to YAHAWASHI for prophesying, and the spirit of prophecy, the spirit of the Lord being the spirit of prophesying, and ultimately for him allowing us to understand these precepts so that we could kick these precepts to you if you receive it through the spirit and power of YAHAWASHI. And this is what this thing is about, glorifying the Heavenly Father, because he set all this up. All this is written about in the scriptures, man. Right? Look at this picture right here, and it's indicative to what's going on. It's indicative to what the scriptures prophesied about a long time ago. Go back to Revelation chapter 17.
Khan, if you notice, that's you had mentioned that this is the same lady from representing Germany, and then you have right next to her, that's Macron from France.
Right.
If you ever see what he looked like, this is Macron right here. But I'm going back. Just bear with me real quick. So you got Revelation 17. We'll read it again. And it says, and the 10 horn which thou sawest upon the beast, it says, these shall hate the whore and shall make her desolate and naked and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. All right.
Keep reading.
So it says, verse 17, for Yahawah Ba'ashim had put in their hearts to fulfill his will and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast until the words of Yahawah Ba'ashim shall be fulfilled.
Right. So they allowed America to take the lead and be the reserve currency for a certain amount of time. And then what America did was they turned to it, but underneath the understanding that the dollar would be backed by the gold standard. And because they had their gold reserves, they put their trust in the dollar. But once the elite ruling banking family, they removed the gold standard from the dollar, and that was backed by the petrodollar. The petrodollar. When you look into the history of the Iraq War, what Saddam Hussein tried to do was he no longer wanted to sell his oil in petrodollars. He wanted to sell his oil in euros. All right. And America went in and removed Saddam Hussein. And this is the reason why that war didn't receive much support from the European Union. But because of their pact, they had that NATO pact, they had to send a certain amount, a minimum of a certain amount of troops over there. And this is what started the majority of this tension that you see. Okay, this tension. Now keep reading on that, Baba Kacha.
This is Revelation 17 and 18. And the woman which thou sawest is that great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth.
So who reigns over the kings of the earth? America, man. Go to the next chapter, Revelation chapter 18 and 1, because we read the chapter a lot and we start here. But what's very important is to understand how did we get here? And we got here by what we just read in Revelation, the 17th chapter, and the video that we showed you is what's leading to it, and also those precepts. All right, that's giving life to the scriptures and what's going on. Go ahead, brother.
If I may mention too, because this is the woman. I'm gonna go back to it real quick because it mentioned about Salakia. It mentioned about that woman being that great city that ruled over the kings of the earth. And it also says that how do you identify that? It says America, the United States, is known as a superpower, and that's what the conversation was about during what to do. It's saying that America is no longer going to be that superpower anymore. All right, it's showing you that's how you can identify that America is that woman that sit upon the beast, you know, and that reign over the kings of the earth. All right,
no question.
And this is Revelations 18 and 1. And after these things, I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and is become the habitations of devil, and the hold of every foul spirit, and the cage of every unclean and hateful bird.
America is fallen, man. This place is fallen, man. In every which way, this place is completely fallen. It's through. It's over. There's no coming back from this, man. You can't. You know, there was a article. There was an election that was held. I believe it was in Kentucky, Louisville, and you know, Jakes were trying to vote. And you know, we don't believe in voting here in GMS. You know, that's all bullcrap. But just for the sake of argument, you know, these Jakes were trying to vote, and you know, they closed 95% of the voting booths down in the whole goddamn city. So there was only one place for you could go vote, and the majority of people that went to vote, they didn't vote. So I say that story to say, how can you try to spread democracy to another country when democracy is not even practiced here? So this place will forever be through, man. How can you speak about justice in another country when justice isn't kept here, man? This place is completely finished. It's over. It's done. There's no coming back from where this country has been up until 2020, man. There's no coming back from here. This place is completely done. All right.
You want me to continue on Revelation 18?
Yep.
The Revelations 18:3. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth had committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues.
So yeah, if you of the hopeful elect, you're gonna come out of this place mentally, spiritually, that you may come out of this place physically. Man. All right, go ahead.
For her sins have reached unto heaven.
Yeah, too much, man. Literally got space and trash floating out there in space, shooting up satellites, trying to shoot down the sun. It's gotten too much, man. Go ahead, brother.
It says, and YAHAWASHI hath remembered her iniquities. Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her, double according to her works. In the cup which she had filled to her double. It says, how much she had glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her.
Yeah, America's going to receive a lot of torment going back to what she did to GAD, the so-called Native Americans and similar enemies. She still hasn't paid for them transgressions. What she did to the so-called Ishakarites. I saw called Mexicans, which are the Ishakarites. All right, what she did to the so-called Puerto Ricans down in an island, what they dubbed Puerto Rico, all right, which is the Puerto Riches island, or what they dubbed the island of Hispaniola, all right, what she did to the so-called Haitians, all right, which are the Levites, the priests of the Heavenly Father, the Judites. America has a lot to pay for. She hasn't paid for those sins that she committed, but she's getting ready to reap those as we speak. Go ahead.
That's right. It says, for she said in her heart, I sit a queen and am no widow and shall see no sorrows.
These Americans think America is not going to be touched. America can't be touched. America can't be defeated militarily, but they're in for a rude awakening. Go ahead.
It says, therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire, for strong is the Lord Yahawah Bashim al-Shah who judgeth her.
Now let's go back to the book of Obadiah.
Got it right here. All right, going back to Obadiah 1 and 2, and it reads, behold, I have made thee small among the heathen, thou art greatly despised. The pride of thine heart had deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rocks, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground?
That's another clue on who the Edomites are, man. All right, the scriptures tell you where they dwell, in the clefts of the rocks, in the Caucasus Mountains. That's why they call themselves Caucasians. So they've been identified. Whose habitation is high. They love to live in Beverly Hills, all right, in the clefts of the rocks, and skyscrapers and buildings that remind them of the rock. This is why they plague the earth with concrete, because it reminds them of Mount Petra, their home. Continue on.
Khan. This is verse 4. It says, though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, said the Lord Yahawah.
So though they exalt thyself as the eagle, and they set their nest among the stars, amongst the stars. And what is the official animal of America? The eagle. And it's not the official animal of America, but it's also the Grecians, it's also the Romans, all right, the Nazis took on this symbolism, all right, the British, all right, all so-called Western society or Edomite nations, so-called white nations, Caucasians, they take on this animal, which is the eagle, and it's a proud bird, it's an unclean bird at that, all right. Hence the bald eagle. Okay.
It says Obadiah 1 and 5. It says, if these came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off?
And that's what you saw, the thief that just can't stop stealing, man. Steal your natural resources, your diamonds, your gold. They won't pay you for it, slave you for it, cut your hands off if you mine enough. You know, he's the thief, man, who cannot be satisfied. Go ahead, brother.
I got a precept just to back you up, and we jump right back to it. This is Habakkuk 2 and 5.
Yep.
It says, yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlarges his desires as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gather unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people.
There's something wrong with a man that can't be satisfied, man. He just keeps keeping. And this is the reason why they'll try to send rovers to Mars, you know, to basically steal its natural resources. You know, send men to the moon to abstract the natural resources over there, man. There's no limit to how far these devils will try to go, to the depths of the sea, all the way to the outer tips of space, as far as Heavenly Father will allow them to steal, man. They'll dig in graves. You see them in tombs in Egypt. They have no shame in their game, man. Go ahead, brother.
Now going back to Obadiah 1 and 5, it says, if these came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they not have stolen till they had enough? If the grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some grapes? It says, how are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up?
Yeah, they're searched out by his men that labor diligently, that look up words, get into the etymology of the words, go into history, match things up with the scriptures, and ultimately have the spirit to be able to discern these things. All right, go ahead, brother.
It says, Obadiah 1 and 7, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the borders. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevail against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him.
So it says all the men of that confederacy. Let's look up the word. Look, you got that word confederacy?
I'm gonna go in the blue letter.
Okay.
All right. Play it real quick.
Strong's H1285. Berith. Berith.
It says Berith, and it says covenant, alliance, pledge between men, treaty, alliance, league, constitution, ordinance, agreement, pledge, alliance, you know, covenant making, covenant keeping. So just going into a treaty or alliance, you know.
So what is NATO? NATO is the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. It was established in 1949. That is an alliance. The North Atlantic Treaty Organization was created in 1949 by the United States, Canada, and some other European nations. Basically, was used to combat the Soviet aggression. So that was an alliance that they had made, right? But the scriptures say, all the men of that confederacy have brought thee to the border. The border what? The border of a war. Because if the men were at peace with thee, have deceived thee, then that means what? You've gotten betrayed. The people that you ate bread with, the people that you thought was your allies, your friends, right? They're going to betray you. And who is that? The European Union, man.
That's right.
And it's being played out right before your face. We just showed you 2 clips. All right. That with a pick and some scriptures to prove what's going on, man. To prove that the Lord is on point. All right. And in the script that he made, and through the spirit, he allowed us to understand these things, man, to be able to break these things down, to know perfectly that America is going to be destroyed by these by their so-called allies, man. All right. And they're putting it out there that they have to make an army, all right, to combat against who? Combat Russian and U.S. aggression. Right. It's being clear that they're getting ready to live in a post-world, a post American superpower world, man.
That's right. Hey, you'll be a fool to trust a thief, man. You know, a thief is amongst you, you know, and you know that man's a thief, man. You'll be a fool to associate yourself with that person, because guess what? That man is liable to stealing from you. So now these nations are starting to understand the ways and the characteristics of the United States, of America, of Babylon, that they're pushing themselves further away, because they know there's nothing but trouble that's coming here. And it's all to their defense to when that time come, they already on guard. They can attack when they're ready to attack. You know what I'm saying? And they're not caught on the blind side. You know, so that's what
Right.
that European army. Macron talked about having the European army and everybody disassociating themselves with America. You know,
America can no longer be trusted, man.
mm-hmm.
And it's according to biblical prophecy, is the scene of future judgment, man.
That's right.
All right. We got anything else, bro?
Yeah, I got a quick one. This is Jeremiah 50:23, because since you mentioned earlier, I'm gonna bring it out. It says, "How was the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How was Babylon become a desolation among the nations?" And it reads, I have laid a snare for thee, and thou art also taken, O Babylon, and thou wast not aware. Thou art found and also caught, because thou hast striven against the Lord YAHWASHI.
You see that? It said that the Lord said he laid a snare and that was not aware, man. That's the reason why if we do this show, you have the average Homer Simpson Edomite cracker that'll watch this show. They'll be like, oh man, you guys don't know what you're talking about, because they can't see it because they're not able to see it. You know, they're not able to see it, but because and if they were able to see it, they would make moves to stop it. But that's not the will of the Heavenly Father. The will of the Heavenly Father is to blind them with so much pride, all right, that destruction may come. You know,
that's right.
That's beautiful, man. It's beautiful. It's going to smash this place.
This is verse 25, and it says, "The Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua had opened his armory and had brought forth the weapon of his indignation. For this is the work of the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua of hosts in the land of the Chaldeans." All right.
Yeah. Hey, man, America's finished, man. Place is already destroyed. It's Babylon is falling. All right. And there's another article as well going into how these Russians were basically putting hits on U.S. soldiers. All right. So, 2020 has been a wild year, man. And this thing is going to pop off.
All right. Put it up real quick just to show. It says Russian intelligence officers offer cash reward to Taliban fighters to kill U.S., UK troops in Afghanistan. Sources says. All right. So I'm gonna just read a little bit of it. Not gonna go too much into it. It says Russian intelligence officers for the military intelligence GRU recently offered money to Taliban militants in Afghanistan as rewards if they kill U.S. or UK troops there. A European intelligence official told CNN. It says the official was unclear as to the precise Russian motivation, but said the incentives had in their assessments led to coalition casualties. It says the official did not specify as to the date of the casualties, their numbers or nationality, or whether these were fatalities or injuries. This caller's approach by the GRU is startling and reprehensible. Their motivation is bewildering, the official says. All right, so I'm gonna just read this next one real quick. It says United States intelligence concluded months ago that Russian military intelligence offered bounties amid peace talks. In the New York Times report Friday. So what it says as peace talk, you know what I'm saying? So while they were speaking, you know what I'm saying, behind the back, what they was doing is paying off them Taliban to wipe out, you know what I'm saying, these troops, man.
Absolutely. Going into what we went into, man. Ezekiel the 38th chapter, Gog and Magog. I am Persia with them. All right. So, hey, man. Hey, we hope the point was made, man. It's clear. The Heavenly Father is in control of this. All right. And our kingdom is to come. We don't care how butthurt you so-called Christians get. All right. Or you American thumpers and you trumpet thumpers. And, we don't care. It's nothing personal. All right. These in this world, in these wicked satanic societies, the Lord said he was going to smash these places and bring in a righteous kingdom. This is what we look forward to. All right. We don't anything getting in the way of that, to hell with it. It can all burn. All right. So with that, we want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahawah, by Hashem, Yahawashi, by Hashem, QADASH. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of GMS. Peace, love, and salutations to the hopeful elect. So then we say, Shalom.
Shalom.